I want to share with you 4 quotes that will redefine your life forever. Let's go. Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to an episode of the Prime Life Project podcast, Thursday Thoughts. I'm your host, Daniel James, and today I want to share with you 4 quotes that will redefine your life. These are some real powerful quotes that I think will really change the way you think about your life. And I want to get straight into it. So the first quote, I'm going to say it first in Latin, so bear with me. Si vis pacem, para bellum. And it means, if you want peace, prepare for war. So why is this the first quote that I'm going with? All these quotes are to do with you changing your life. And for me, this means that if you want inner peace, so it says here, if you want peace, prepare for war. Inner peace. If you want inner peace, you've got to be prepared to go through the battle with yourself. That is the war. People don't talk about this. People think it's a nice fancy thing. Oh yeah, I'm doing the work on myself. Like it's a nice, easy thing. It's not. It's hard. You are literally going to war with yourself. You are going to unpick some of the darkest things that maybe you've hidden from yourself and especially hidden from other people. It's all the things maybe feel a bit of shame, a bit of guilt about. All of these things hold you back. They are like an anchor that is holding you still, and you know it. You've got some limiting beliefs that you need to work on, these paradigms, these limiting beliefs. You've got some habits that are constantly holding you back. You keep self-sabotaging, and you know that you do. You just don't want to actually look at why. So again, that's your shadow. It's like a rucksack that you're carrying around. And if you want peace, you have to unpick that rucksack, and it can get quite dark. So for me, understand if you want that peace, you're going to have to go to war. You've got to go with that attitude. You're going to war with yourself. So that for me is just a real powerful thing that when I heard this, I was like, wow. I didn't realize if that's what the quote meant, but for me, that's exactly how I interpreted it. So powerful, because it's that part of us that we hide from other people that really does hold us back. And it's something that I've had to really work on and unpick myself. And over the last 12 months, those people that actually know me and see me in person, and again, even long-term listeners of the podcast will know that I've become a lot more open about sharing things. Again, these Thursday thoughts are me really sharing with you some stuff that I've learned throughout the week. And again, sometimes I do get quite vulnerable with it, sharing like personal stories, rather than myself with clients, whatever it is. But for me, the reason why I'm able to do this and the reason why I'm able to have such impact, especially when I go into schools, especially when I talk at big companies, is because I've done that work on myself. I've gone to war with myself. Now, occasionally I still have to go to war with myself. I'm not perfect. This podcast is not about me preaching. This podcast, the whole purpose of this podcast is for me to give you the information that I wish I had when I needed it. Because we go to war with ourselves and we don't even realize that we're doing it. We get trapped and sometimes we lose that war. But again, it's okay. So understand, you lost that war. Don't worry. Dust yourself off. We go again. But you have to then learn from those mistakes. You have to actually do the work. And it's not easy. We have to do that work on unpicking it. So again, say that quote one more time. Si vis pacem, para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. We all want peace, but we're not prepared to go to war with ourselves. Number 2, how you do anything is how you do everything. Now, I've reheard this quote. This is how I heard this quote this week. This is all quotes I heard this week in a movie. The movie was John Wick. So again, for me, you may or may not know, there's no spoilers here, don't worry. But I was watching John Wick 4, and all of these quotes came to me while I was watching this movie, and there's some real powerful quotes in there. And I thought, I've got to do a podcast on this because people may not have heard these quotes before. So how you do everything is, it says here, how you do anything is how you do everything. For me, I heard that originally, the quote that I've heard through one of my mentors is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Now, this for me is all about your attitude. Now, I spoke about your attitude before. Your attitude is your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Like, what is your attitude towards life? Because your attitude towards life is life's attitude towards you. So again, how you do one thing, your attitude towards one thing, more than likely is going to cross over into other areas. So for example, if you show up late for work, you're more than likely probably going to show up late for friends, for dates, for other things. Now, the problem with this is that people can see that as disrespectful or even rude. Actually, small little things we don't realize actually become the big things. The small things are the big things. So you've got this big wall in front of you, this big, massive house. Again, that was built one brick at a time. And that's what we don't seem to understand. How we do one thing is how we do everything. These small little bricks build the big house. We all want this big, massive house, but it's one brick at a time. So again, are you actually taking the time to do things properly? Or do you always rush through them, try and get them done quickly? And there's a positive thing we can do here as well. Like, it's not just for the negative, because again, if we show discipline in one area of our life, that will then transfer into other areas of our life. So we're all disciplined in certain things. And you'll notice that actually that one trait will then probably carry over into other areas of your life as well. But again, there's that. It's not the positives. They're the great ones, great, brilliant. But it's the negative ones that really hold us back. How we do one thing is how we do everything. That's honestly for me. When I walk past a piece of rubbish, when I'm at the gym or something, I'll pick it up and I'll remind myself, how I do one thing is how I do everything. Again, just building that discipline. Real powerful. Number 3, a man without purpose is nothing. So again, it's from a movie. So let's call it a person without purpose is nothing. So a purpose essentially is a reason why you get out of bed in the morning. It's a sense of direction. Now, a lot of people struggle to get out of bed in the morning. They really genuinely do struggle to get out of bed in the morning. And for me, the reason why that is because they don't have any direction. Now, you may have heard me talk about this before. I see us, human beings, as boats, and the sea is life. Now, for me, if you don't direct your boat, the sea of life is going to direct it for you. And that's what happens with most people. They get in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and they're like, where the hell is my life going? Like, where how have I ended up here? And again, it comes to people have that midlife crisis because, like, I didn't want to go down this path. But it's because you haven't chosen a path. So the another analogy that you've heard me use on the podcast before is you're going down a river. Like, you can't go upstream. Like, we're going one way. We're only going one way. We're all going one way. You can steer your boat. If you don't steer your boat, the river's going to direct you to wherever it is until you get to the sea. And again, sea is the death. You can control your boat. Most of us don't. Most of us play it safe. Again, there's another quote, not for this podcast, but that goes in line with the boat analogy. A ship at a dock is safe, but that's not what ships are designed for. Are you playing safe in your life? Are you just coasting by, letting the sea of life just take you wherever it wants to go? Because if there is, that means you're not having the purpose. That's probably why you're struggling to get out of bed in the morning. You don't have anything to get up for. Where do you actually want to go with your life? Where do you want to go? Have you ever stopped and asked, what do you want? One of the biggest things when it comes to self-help books and self-help courses and mentors you can get, they'll tell you, it's what I say to my clients, where do you want to go? I do a whole workshop on it. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to end up? Because if you don't ask it, if you don't tell the universe, how's the universe going to know? You're just going to end up with something. You can direct your life a lot more than you actually think you can. We're just not taught how to do it. And this is why I'm going to go into schools. One of the main things I talk to kids about. You can change the outcome of your life. You just have to tell the universe. You have to plug the destination to that GPS. Where do you want your boat to go? Because you wouldn't just go out your house in the morning and just wander around without a plan and just end up wherever you ended up. You've got a plan. You know where you're going. But we don't do it with our own life. So before I go into the final point here, if you're enjoying the podcast and you're watching this on YouTube, again, please think about subscribing and hitting the thumbs up button. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow, and also on Apple Podcasts as well. And also think about leaving us a review. So there's 2 podcasts that comes out each week. Got these Thursday Thoughts, which are real quick, short, sharp sound bites where I try and drop some bombs on you to actually help you move your life forward and get out of the mental prison that you find yourself in. And then you've got the full-length episode that comes out every single Tuesday, where it's either me really deep diving some stuff, basically like the workshops I give my clients, I share them with you guys, or me and Mikey talking, or we have some amazing guests on. We've got some really, really good in-person guests lined up as well. So make sure you follow and subscribe so you don't miss that out. Don't miss out on that, should I say. Final quote. A good death only comes after a good life. Now, that may sound a bit morbid, but for me, it's really important to actually understand that we do die. We all die. It is absolutely inevitable. And in the West, we seem to kind of avoid talking about it. But that actually ends up with us not making the most of the life that we've got. We must live. We must actually cherish every single moment. And this is why, again, I've got the tattoo on my arm here with the hourglass. So Stephen Bartlett, in his book, Happy Sexy Millionaire, he said, in life, it's like going to a roulette table and you've got this stack of chips. And every single minute you have to put a chip down. You can't not. But what are you doing with that chip? Where are you placing that chip? And he basically said that if you had a sand timer following you, counting down the time until you're going to die, would you live your life differently? And I took that very, very literally, which is why I now have a sand timer on my arm. So every time I look down, it reminds me, am I actually living today to its fullest? Because soon we're all going to run out of sand. We never know how long we've got left. So again, in order to have a good death, you've got to have a good life. Or me paraphrasing, that a good death only comes from a good life. But don't act. So this is another quote again. I'm just reading it down here. I don't know if my notes were a quote, but this is a quote from Marcus Aurelius. It says, "Do not act as if we're going to live for 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, and while it is in your power, be good." I just really want to leave you with that final part there. It ties into the purpose part. I want you to live every single day to its fullest. And you're not going to win every single day. But what I say to my clients is just try and win the week. All you've got to do is win 4 out of the 7 days. And what I mean by that is move your life forward in some direction that you want it to go into. Again, spend time with amazing people. Don't waste your energy with people that don't give you energy back. Just really take an audit of your life. Take an audit and ask yourself, do you have the people around you that are actually lifting you up, or are they holding you back? Because you only have one life. Make sure you live it to its fullest. This is something that I'm really trying to embrace, because for me, I wasted 28 years essentially of my life. I've done some amazing things, lived in America, been to South Africa to help kids in townships. I've done some truly incredible things. But I look back and I didn't cherish any of them because I wasn't living in the moment and I was too inside my own head. I don't want that to happen to you. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next week.